Does it kind of disturb you? I thought of you when I heard Rick Nelson's song "Garden Party," and that lyric, "If memories is all I make, then I might as well drive a truck," or something to that effect.
Well, there's a lot more to it, I think, than just that line.
Yes. But does it disturb you that every time a conversation starts with you, the first thing is the memories, the 50s?
Well, if I was 80 years old, it wouldn't bother me, but not hit 30 yet. Sometimes it does bother me. Yeah.
But that's not a thing that you resent.
Oh no, I just think there's other things to talk about.
Of course.
At times, I mean, when it's an information thing, like maybe some people in your audience are wondering what's happening or that's fine, but it's various people who really don't really care that ask,
Oh, just the kind of matter of fact.
Exactly, yeah.
For the benefit of, because we have a lot of folks listening to us who are 13, 14, 15, 16, and the like, let us begin at the beginning. Where and how did it begin for you?
Well, it all began in Philadelphia, South Philadelphia. I never had any ambition to be in show business, and a fellow named Bob Marcucci was managing Frankie Avalon at the time, and he met me in quite weird circumstances because he lived right around the corner from me, and we never had met, and I hadn't quite turned 15 yet, and my father had taken a heart attack and was being rushed out in an ambulance, and this fellow, Bob, had a good friend that lived right next door. He was driving by. Anyway, he stopped to find out what was all the commotion about, and obviously he found out it was my dad, and that's how we met. And we started to talk, and I was introduced to him, and he said, Fabian, that's a very odd name. Well, I've gotten that since I was 8 or 9 years old, so it didn't impress me much when he said it.
That is your real name?
Yeah, Fabiano, for my grandfather, but it's Fabian in English. So, and as the weeks and months went by, I kept on bugging the guy next door to ask me if I sang and wanted to sing and all this. And then he finally came up to me and asked me. And I was a big fan of the radio and many people in those days, namely Presley and Everly Brothers, and a lot of black soul singers, and the Dick Clark Show, as a matter of fact. At that time, it was called the Bob Horn Show because it wasn't the Dick Clark Show.
Bob Horn.
Bob Horn, right.
I didn't know that.
It wasn't. It was a local show in Philadelphia before Dick got a hold of it. Anyway, he asked me, and my father was pulling in all but about $45 a week in compensation at the time, and I figured I'd love to try it. So he staked me. And before I knew it, I was out of Philadelphia in New York. I've never been to New York. It's only 90 miles away. Recording, which got me, in those days they were called record hops, and we did a couple of record hops, and people were screaming and yelling and all that. And I always thought...
The first time out?
First time out. Ever.
But I mean the first time out. The first time you appeared...
The first time I ever stood on a stage.
They started screaming?
Yeah. And I thought my fly was down or something. I wasn't quite sure what was going on.
Yes.
So, and then I got on the Dick Clark Show, and the record wasn't a hit, but things went well for me, which was kind of nice. And then...
which record was that?
Oh, I think called I'm in Love. Boy, I should have brought one along to play. I don't even have one, but I know someone has it somewhere.
What label was it?
Die laughing. Chancellor.
The Chancellor label.
Yeah.
And what year was this?
59.
Did you lip sync it on the?
Oh, sure.
On the Clark.
Oh, sure. And because the budget was so low that they were going to hire a band, so we lip synced the song, and then I got very lucky. The third record I did was a thing called I'm a Man, and it sold about maybe 600,000 records.
Wow.
Which was very good. And then a thing called Turn Me Loose, which close to 1 million, and a thing called Tiger, which went over 1 million. But that was all in like 8 months, 9 months.
All of those records and all of that that stuff happened.
All that commotion, yeah.
In 8 months.
Yeah, approximately. No, maybe a year. I don't remember.
And you weren't older than 16 years old at the time.
Oh, and I was just 15.
Incredible. Now we have to explore that. We have to find out how you dealt with that. Were you sheltered from it for the most part? Were other people handling all of it?
Everybody handled everything. I didn't handle anything. They gave me $5 a week. I'm serious. And
$5 a week.
I finally got $30.
Who got all the money?
Oh, went into a trust fund and all that.
I see.
But not all of it. You had a lot of expenses and stuff. But and yeah, Matt's got $1 of it. It's a friend of mine who's in the studio. And no, I didn't know what was going on.
So you were sheltered from it. In other words, you did not realize the impact you were having upon America.
The only time I realized it when we did what they call concerts today, when we did big shows, then I finally realized, well, he left his home to come to the hotel room to say hello. And
Wow.
I thought that was very nice of him. I mean,
Sure.
I just couldn't imagine, you know. And he spent a couple hours, you know, just
Kicking it
shooting
around.
the bull, you know.
You know, in the 50s, besides the music being kind of innocent,
Yeah.
there was an all-pervasive feeling and attitude of innocence in America.
Right.
Drugs were not what they are today. Riots and craziness were not what
No.
they are today. How do you point out the differences, Fabian? What has changed in rock music, whereas so many of the performers are using hard narcotics, so many of them have died as a result of hard narcotics, so much trouble at rock concerts and festivals, even deaths. What went wrong? Where did we all lose our innocence in the rock culture?
I don't really think we have. I just think it's available. People have always been lonely and sad, or needed a little bit more security in their lives. And it's available. It's not a question of going wrong. People are people. People had the same anxieties in the late 50s when I was around, and I certainly had them, and I still have them today. But now it's easy to get rid of them by using various drugs. It's available now.
At the height of your career, did you ever fall into that bag?
In the height of my career in the 50s, you
Yes.
mean? It wasn't available as much. There was grass around and pills, and no, I never really did fall into the bag. I remember one night I tried what they now kiddingly call, well, they call them bennies, you know.
Benzodrine pills.
Yeah.
Uppers.
And I took 3, and I was a kid, and I said, I'll try them, and it was the worst performance I ever gave, and I was up, you know, all the time for 3 days, and I didn't like it for some reason. I just didn't like it. I always like to be in control of what I'm doing. So maybe I was lucky to try something so harmless as a Benny, and be turned off by loss of control, that I never went into anything else.
And we now, of course, know that they're not all that harmless, you know, because they're terrible.
Well, they thought so
At the time,
At
yeah.
the time.
I see on television sometimes now doing the advertisement for that oldies package. See,
Oh,
all the
yeah.
time, late at night on television, a million times, interrupting the movie all the time.
Well, yeah, right.
How do you feel about doing those things? I mean, I understand that they're very lucrative, you know, financially.
Yeah, it was good bread, and I figured it was a twofold reason for doing it. I didn't necessarily like the copy or the way they handle it or anything else like that. But it's a commercial. What are you going to do? But I was very realistic about it. I did it for the bread. But how I feel about it was twofold. I felt that the people that haven't seen me in a while, there's an opportunity to see me. And I guess that's it, really, in a nutshell.
The exposure is excellent,
yeah,
isn't it?
I thought that was it.
Mickey Dolenz just recorded one of those, too.
Did he?
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be on television in a minute.
You know.
Let us pause again, and then when we come back, would you like to talk with the listeners for a bit?
Sure, I'd love to.
Great. Okay, in just a moment or two, we'll give you an opportunity to call up and talk with Fabian about some of the things we've been discussing, or perhaps some subjects we haven't that might be of interest to you. And I'll give you all the telephone numbers. Elliot Mintz, you're on Talk Radio with Fabian.
Good evening. Fabian, I hear you from Philadelphia. Have you ever been up around Reading?
Quite a few times.
Do you like it up there?
What I remember of it, yeah.
Oh, that's far up. I read an article the other day in the LA Times about you.
Oh, yeah.
And they said that you started a new band or something?
Well, I put 4 guys together to back me up on the road, yeah.
Yeah, what kind of music are you playing now?
Mostly rock.
Rock?
Yeah. Well, there's all kinds of rock, isn't there?
Yeah.
We did a lot of top 40 things, and we did a medley. In each set, we did a medley of the 50s things, and some nice ballads like Homeward Bound and Sweet Caroline, and some stuff like that, you know.
Oh, that's fun.
We had a lot of fun, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, do you plan to play around here in the LA area sometime?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know exactly when, but we will. I know we will.
I see. Oh, far up. Nice talking to you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Come say hi.
Good night. Elliot Mintz, you're on Talk Radio with Fabian.
Hey, Fabian.
Yay.
I wanted to rap with you and ask you if you, at any given time, did you record any type of Western music, you know, that C&W stuff? I know you were in rock, but the acceptance, you know, like there's 40 million people that get down to folklore type music. And I've never heard you unless you've gone under, you know, a false name. But I've never heard you on rock. I mean,
no, I'm sorry to say I never had the opportunity to do any. Let's see, from 15 to 18, those 3 short years, we were basically doing the bubblegum kind of stuff that was selling for me at the time. And then from 18 till now, I haven't been recording at all. So I haven't really had the opportunity, but I enjoy most of it very much.
Yeah, I haven't seen you on any current television shows either. You know,
right.
They said there was one doctor film, I think it was on Playhouse 90 or something, that you had done. And it was well accepted, you know, and they said, that, well, here we have a feature star, which we already had, by the way. But it never materialized into anything further. And it was just, you know, I thought maybe you might be an MC on a television program or something. Maybe in the East Coast, you know, like we're out here in the West Coast, so I don't know.
Well, no, I haven't done, I've done a few guest shots, you know, on the TV things as an actor. And the latest thing I've done is a Love American Style, which will air February 23rd, I believe.
On ABC.
On ABC, of course. But not any of the variety shows.
Okay,
so,
sir.
Hey, like, we'll look forward to seeing you on that program.
Well, thank you, man, very much. Thanks for your call.
calling. Good night. We'll take our next call to Fabian after I remind you that this is Talk Radio 79, KABC Los Angeles, where you've got a friend in Mr. Blackwell. You can talk it over with him afternoons from 1 till 3. KABC, Elliot Mintz, you're on Talk Radio.
Hi, Fabian.
Hi, how are you?
This is Dave, and you made a movie a while back. Of course you made a movie, but it was a surfing movie.
Right.
And it was with, I believe, Shelley Fabares was in it.
That's right.
And it was really kind of a far-out movie, and it ended up that you had to go out and catch the big wave.
Of course.
And you know, you got washed in, I guess, and everybody was on the beach. You know, you can't do it, it's too big. And you went out and you did it, you know. Yeah. And it was kind of neat, you know. I was wondering, do you ever do any kind of surfing at all?
I did at that time.
Did you?
Yeah, in fact, I learned how to surf for that film. The interesting thing about that film was that the footage, if you remember it.
Yeah, I do.
It was probably the most exciting footage ever on surfing. And Bruce Brown, as a matter of fact, was there shooting the same time our cameras were, and his picture, Endless Summer.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the same footage is used in that film also.
Yeah, because if I remember, that's the film that most people will remember you from. Is that one film? I think it was your best film.
Thank you. It was called Ride the Wild Surf.
That's right. I forgot the name of the film, but
I was 21 when I did it. It was 8 years ago.
It was really good. It was really exciting. It wasn't rinky-dink bubblegum, you know. And
well, the producers of the show was for Columbia. They tried to all the beach blanket bingo things were kind of fluffy.
Yeah.
And they tried to get some substance to this script, and I think they kind of succeeded with it. For that, you have to remember, it is 8 years ago.
Frankie Avalon never did anything for me anyway. The guy was...
Well, he did a lot for his wife. He's got 7 kids.
Yeah, I heard about that. Anyways, how do they shoot those films where it looks like you're on the board?
Well, on the stuff up to about 15 feet, I did myself. Anything over that, I didn't. They had other guys to do that. But 15 foot is a big wave.
You were riding 15-foot waves?
Yeah. We got hurt. We got hurt a lot.
That's pretty big waves, you know?
Darn right it is.
Did you ever work with what they call, I think it's called process photography?
Oh, sure. Many times.
Explain that to the caller.
Well, that's what I think he's asking.
Yeah.
For the process, they call it process. They don't use it too much in films nowadays. They would stand you in front of, or like if you're supposed to be driving a car at a very high speed, they would have a film showing in the background of the road that you're supposed to be driving on.
Right.
And it doesn't go over now because it looks phony, but in the early days, even much earlier than my time, it was quite effective. But you watch the old movies, you'll see it.
Isn't that the same as the guys on a phony saddle and the things revolving in back of them?
Exactly,
yeah, and
it's the same thing.
And that's the reason that Frankie could be talking with Annette on the board while they're riding 97-foot waves behind them.
They made it very easy for him in Hollywood.
Yes.
that guy was so sickening.
Now, none of that. He never spoke highly of your work either.
just in case you're interested, I'm the guy that calls in, and I'm the guy who argues with you about McCartney and Lennon.
Oh, yes. The caller is a Paul McCartney fan.
Oh, right.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
Thank you for your call.
Thank you for calling. You're on Talk Radio with Fabian.
Hello, my name's Linda, and I'm sure that you've known people that have taken drugs.
Could you talk a little louder, Linda?
Yes. I was talking to Fabian, and I was wondering that I'm sure that he has known people that have taken drugs, and I was wondering about if he's known anybody that has stopped taking drugs and what his views on it are.
What are your general thoughts on drugs?
Well, not really experience any hard things or even acid or anything. It's very difficult for me to. I even hate to generalize about it. You know, when you get into hard things, it's a whole different bag from grass. You know, and I think many people think they can handle it, and all of a sudden find out that they cannot, and it might be a little late for them at times. I've never been an advocate of drugs in any shape or form, and naturally I wouldn't start now, but...
Do you favor the legalization of marijuana?
I'm not sure. I really haven't made up my mind on that as yet. But as far as people that I know that have, it's almost in the same state as a friend of mine who was an alcoholic. Basic needs they're trying to get away from. And I don't think drugs are the problem, funny enough. I think it's the problems that cause people to take the drugs.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's very hard for me to talk about drugs in that sense.
Well, I was just wondering, I've just recently stopped taking drugs. I've almost taken them for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of strange, all my old friends, you know, everybody that was taking dope and everything, they have different views about me now, you know. It's sort of a cliche, something like
Well, that's a shame, and maybe they're really not your friends.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You mean the friends you used to hang out with are now ostracizing you because you no longer use dope?
Right. A lot of them, you know, it's just a thing that, you know, to see how stoned you can get and to see how stoned everybody can get, it just started to get really crazy.
I think Fabian's right. Maybe those people really aren't your friends.
That's true.
Possibly.
Wish you luck.
Thank you.
Okay,
Good night. For your call.
870-7263 KABC. Elliot Mintz, you're on Talk Radio.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, yes. First, Mr. Mintz, may I come...
Elliot, you can call me Elliot.
Okay, Elliot. So first time I ever called a radio station, so...
We're delighted you did.
And I was just happy to tune in at about the time you said Fabian was coming on, about 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, may I say something to you? I think you're a very courteous person on radio.
Well, thank you.
And I'd love to listen to you.
Yes, now Fabian can hear you.
Okay,
yes.
and Fabian.
Yes.
Oh, the only thing I called about was that I really back you up on the comment you made on drugs. And second of all, when I was younger, well, I'm probably about your age about now too, and I have my little kids, you know, growing up.
Yeah.
And I was always behind you then, and I still am now. And I see you on TV every once in a while, like Mr. Mint said that.
Elliot.
That commercial and stuff, yeah.
Yes. And you're not a chubby-faced boy no more.
No, I'm not.
And I and my husband both speak about you very well. And
Well, that's very nice of
behind
you.
you.
Thank you.
And I wish you luck, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your call. Good night. Wasn't she a sweet lady?
Very nice.
KABC, Elliot Mintz, you're on Talk Radio with Fabian.
Yes, how are you, Elliot?
Fine, thank you.
That's good. Fabian, I'm pretty young to really remember you, but I remember hearing you on the radio somewhat.
Oh.
What have you been doing the last 10 years?
Well, mainly films. I was lucky enough to get into films at a young age, and for the past 8 or 9 years, I've been doing 1.5 films a year.
Can you mention their names?
Well, the new one is a thing called Lovin' Man. That's all. It's, how can I put it? It's like a Elmer Gantry, young Elmer Gantry type.
Oh, great. I always loved that film with Burt Lancaster.
It was a great film, yeah.
Fabulous movie. And Gene Simmons was in that, too.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And our film is not similar, but it's the only way I can relate it to many people. He's a young preacher who travels. He has really no direction and is really kind of lonely and has a habit, and that's heroin.
Really?
Yeah. And
What a unique role for you to be playing.
Yeah, and a very interesting role. Basically an anti-drug film, but which it doesn't matter. But it was an interesting role for me. That's the last film. There's another film I did with Karen Black in Florida about 3 years ago that they're finally releasing this year. And some of the other
what is
films.
that called, Fabian?
I'm not sure of the title.
She is an extraordinary actress.
Yeah, this is before things really popped for her.
Easy Rider. And,
Right. This is right before things started happening for her. Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. What was I going to ask you? How does it feel to be in the nostalgia craze now? Because you're in it, too. So
Well, I'm kind of ambivalent about it, really. I think it's fun in a way. And then all of a sudden I did a rock revival thing in Phoenix, Arizona not too long ago. And it was a very strange feeling because people expected you to do all the songs out of the 50s and things like that. And
kind of blasé, huh?
well, and that wasn't my act. My act is very up to date with a lot of contemporary things, and except for the one medley of the 50s, and all of a sudden I felt out of place, if you know what I mean.
I understand.
And it was kind of a weird feeling. I didn't particularly like it very much, although I don't mind the nostalgia craze, because I think it's going to give a lot of guys a chance to make records and do their own thing as young adults now.
But don't you think, like, this nostalgia craze... I'm 20 now. I'm going to be 20 next month, but I think this nostalgia craze is coming about because we don't have any new, innovative singers. And
Well, I think you're exactly right.
We're back then, I think.
Well, I think the music business right now is kind of at a standstill, direction-wise, and I think this fills a big gap.
Caller, thank you very much. We're going to run along.
Thank you.
KABC, Elliot Mintz, you're on Talk Radio with Fabian. Hello?
Yes, Fabian,
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I'm 18 years old, and I just love all your movies, like your old ones.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to wish you all the luck
Thank you.
in the world, and I love you.
Thank you, and thank you for calling.
Good night. Elliot Mintz, you're on Talk Radio.
Hi, Fabian. This is Dave.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
I remember the Dick Clark show. I don't know if you remember the TV show he had on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock.
Oh, sure. I did it quite a few times.
American Bandstand.
Right.
Yeah, I was wondering, do you think that a show like that, it's my theory that a show like that would really go over big now, too, just like it did then?
Well, as you know, Dick still has his show on Saturday afternoon, and it's syndicated in many areas around the country.
Including here.
Yes, right here in...
It's not really the same kind of show. With the one that's on Saturday night, he used to play have the artists on it that were in the top 10 or 20.
Well,
he'd have them come on and do their big songs.
You're absolutely
in front of
right.
a live audience.
I think it would go over, but there's one big problem nowadays, and that's prices of the acts and things have gone up, but although they do it for promotion anyway.
Yeah,
There's another show that's coming on called the Midnight Special.
Yep.
Which is it ABC also?
Yes, it is.
ABC also, which is going to be on after 1 o'clock, after the Dick Cavett show, excuse me. And it's going to have all the popular acts of the day. I don't think it'll be similar, but you'll see a lot of people that you dig on the show.
It'll also be simulcast in stereo through KLOS FM radio, so you can watch it and hear it in stereo.
Hey, that sounds great.
I mean, I think it's a fantastic thing that ABC's doing, really.
Also has...
It's going to be on Friday night, by the way. I don't know why I'm plugging it. You know why I'm plugging it? Because I want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
Also, has Art LeBeau contacted you at all?
No, he hasn't. I've passed by that place many times. I haven't stopped in, not for any particular reason. I just haven't.
You know, I met Art LeBeau for the first time a couple of weeks ago at a place. He invited me up there. I haven't gone there yet either. It'd be great to bop in one night. He's got the Penguins and everybody there.
Yeah,
oh, really?
I going in there. I just wondered if how they go about contacting some of the old artists, you know.
I guess through the agents and things like that, but it all depends how much money they have to spend, too, you know. It gets into finances.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know.
Okay.
Thanks for your call.
Thanks a lot.
Good night. KABC, Elliot Mintz, you're on Talk Radio with Fabian.
Hi, Elliot.
Hi.
My name's Joyce.
Yes, Joyce.
Hi. I'd like to see with Fabian.
Yes, right here.
Hi.
Hi.
One of the films you made several years ago was called Hound Dog Man.
That was my very first film.
And I enjoyed it so much because I'm an admirer of the author, Fred Gibson.
Right.
And you sang a song in the film called This Friendly World.
Right.
And I just really think it's one of the best songs you've ever sung.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was...
It's a beautiful song. Beautiful.
It was right at that time when the world was kind of friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. You have
You're
a very
welcome.
good memory.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you, where was that filmed?
That was filmed right here in Southern California at 20th Century Fox, and up in the mountains around Big Bear.
Yeah, how would I go about obtaining that song? I know it's out of print.
Oh, yeah. And I think my mother has one.
You could write to Fabian's mother.
But otherwise, I really don't know. The only thing that might happen is that I'll be recording again maybe in about 3 or 4 months, and maybe they'll put a nostalgia album together,
that's great.
possibly. I'm not sure. And maybe it'll crop up that way. But I won't make any promises.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
for your
Joyce.
call.
Good night. You know, one of the very things that, interesting things that's emerging here in our program, in the fleeting moments of it, is that you have a huge following of folks who obviously know and respect your work and yourself, and it would seem to me that any kind of album for you to get involved in now would prove very profitable not only for you, but for whoever decides to produce it.
Possibly. I think so. I mean, I found that out only because of the last road trip, because of all the interest.
All the people who came to you.
Because mainly when you make films and things, you're kind of isolated from the general public. But when I finally got out there about 3 months ago, I found all that interest. Like I told you before, I didn't know what to expect, and I was actually thrilled about the response. So I think it would go over, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be a wonderful idea, something that you should pursue. I mean, even producing it yourself. I think.
That's a thought.
Elliot Mintz, you're on Talk Radio.
Hello, Elliot.
Hi.
I'd like to talk to. I'm a Fabian fan,
He can hear you.
Right here.
and I'm remembering tonight a television landmark which you appeared in.
The documentary?
No, not the documentary. It was a
The bus stop.
bus stop.
Right.
Yeah.
Bus stop. Yeah.
And I remember that as being very bold and very adult and very ahead of its time. And this was many years ago.
Yeah, well, I was 18. It's a few years ago. The background on that show was very interesting. This was the first time in TV history that they went on the air without any commercials.
Is that so?
Yeah, the first time ever.
Yeah.
How was it paid for?
I think there was a motion picture company, I think it was Fox,
Who put up the bread?
who promoted their own movies at
see.
the end of the show, if I remember correctly. And that's how they did it. See, the trouble in those days was that they thought a fellow like a Bobby Sherman today or a David Cassidy today, playing a psychopath, which I did, and I guess they thought I did a good job in being realistic. They thought it would have too big of an impact on the younger audience. So I remember they tried to bury it on New Year's Eve, and they tried to bury it, but finally it came out.
Yeah.
But it was a landmark in TV. I sometimes forget about it myself.
No,
But thank you for reminding me.
I really I thought you gave a very sensitive performance, and I just wanted to call and say that I'm hoping that you'll get another role like that sometime.
Well, I hope so. Thank you.
Thank you for the call.
Okay, bye.
Elliot Mintz, you're on Talk Radio with Fabian.
Hello, Elliot. How are you tonight?
Good, thank you.
This is Gino.
Yes, Gino.
I would like to make a comment to Fabian, if I might, that he might find somewhat interesting.
Fine.
Fabian, you and I are contemporaries in age. I'm also Italian descent. I'm a lawyer now.
Very good. You went into a good field.
What I was going to bring up is that when I was growing up about 90 miles down the road from you in Brooklyn,
Right.
the kind of heroes I had were guys like Joey Gallo, you know.
Right, okay.
And when I used to come home or be brought home by the New York Police Department at the age of 13 or 14, my mother would say to me, "Look at Fabian. He isn't getting in trouble. He's making records," you know.
Yeah, but I had all those PR people to make sure nobody found out that I got in trouble.
Right. Well, and then a year or two later, when I'd come home with maybe C's and D's on the report card, I'd walk in the door and my mother'd say, "You know, Fabian, that nice Italian boy, he's got a gold record. You're getting D's on your report card." Anyway, I think that probably if she were in Los Angeles, she'd probably be calling you to tell you herself that it's through you that her son became an attorney. But,
well, now I know where to find a good attorney now, right?
Okay, but I just thought I'd mention it to you.
Listen, thank you for your call. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Good night. You were raised in Brooklyn.
No, he said 90 miles from Brooklyn, Philadelphia.
Oh, in Philadelphia.
Right.
Yeah, because I didn't think you were a New Yorker.
Yeah. Close, though. Yeah.
But by the way, it's interesting. Your ancestry was brought up, and I usually refrain from discussing that with people.
Yeah.
If you don't wish to discuss
Oh,
it,
it doesn't bother me at all.
But with the appearance of The Godfather and some
Yes.
of the recent discussion about the fact that, or the accusation that Italian people are frequently portrayed in a negative light by this constant accentuation on the mafia.
Right.
It's gotten a lot of people irritated. I spoke to Sal Mineo about that here and a few other Italian people. What is your thoughts? Do you think that's justified?
I was never really that irritated by it. I think people are bright enough. See, I give people, especially people throughout the country and your listening audience, a lot more credit for what various PR people would say about one ethnic group, because in reality it was many ethnic groups involved in the underworld. So it doesn't bother me, and it shouldn't bother anybody from Italian ancestry, because people are really too bright to buy it, I think.
How does do you speak Italian?
Oh, very, very little. One or two words.
Among your relatives and family and the like, when you all get together, do the older members of your family seem to resent, the Godfather type stuff?
No, not really. Last time I spoke to my dad and saw him a couple months ago, he wasn't that upset about it. Well, I was brought up in South Philadelphia. We still today know a lot of people that are connected with various things in bookies and things like that. Some of my father's best friends were bookies and things like that. But and when I was growing up and got a chance to associate with people like that, I just just like you and me, just had a different profession. Now I'm not talking about murdering or dope pushing that I condone or anything like that. Basically, it was the number situation where. Just like going to the races.
Fabian, we only have about 2 or 3 minutes left. Just a couple of things in closing. Has there ever been a question that you've always wanted to have asked of you publicly that you never had a chance to respond to? Is there anything you ever wanted to say publicly to your fans, people who knew you, that you don't think you ever said?
I don't think it's a question that I'm really looking for. I'm looking for a basic expression of me, whether it's either in music or nowadays music or in a film. I'm not very good at really answering questions, although I do my best. I just never get out what I get out what I mean, but I'm not very eloquent about it.